Civil engineering isn't just one career, it's five completely different ones, or even more, wearing the same job title. The pay gap between them runs around $1,000 all the way up to $140,000 or more, depending on experience, of course. Same degree, different paychecks. Today, I'm ranking all five major specialties by what they actually pay, from lowest to highest, and I'll tell you exactly why that pay gap exists because it's not what you'd expect. I'm a civil engineer with over a decade in this field. I did design work and worked for an agency while I was still in school, worked as a construction manager, also worked as a contractor. So I definitely have a little bit of diversity. Along the way, I've watched classmates from my own program scatter into structural, geotech, transportation, and water resources. Same degree, different careers. So I want to go ahead and start ranking them. So coming in at number five, averaging around $98,000 a year, water resources and environmental engineering. These are the engineers designing water supply systems, wastewater treatment, flood defenses, and stormwater management. This is critical and infrastructure work, especially with how much climate driven flooding and drought is shaping in this field. So, why is it ranked last? Mostly employer type. A huge share of these roles sit inside municipalities and public agencies and public sector. Pay ceilings are just lower than private consulting or contracting. And you will see a trend in a lot of these different industries or different sectors, I should say. It is always public versus private. So if you care about a mission driven public impact work, this is a great path for you. Just know you are trading some ceiling for stability and public service. So coming in at number four is transportation engineering, and that is a salary of between $89,000 and $101,000. So transportation engineering, you have highways, bridges, airports, transit systems. Here's the twist. This is arguably the hottest specialty for job availability right now. Federal infrastructure funding has poured billions into transportation projects, and firms are hiring aggressively. But high demand for jobs doesn't always mean highest pay per role. It means more openings competing for engineers, which helps early in career salary growth. But transportation still trails structural and construction management at the senior level. Coming in at number three, running $90,000 to $110,000, geotechnical engineering, the engineers who figure out what the ground can actually support before anyone pours a foundation. Every structure on this list depends on their work happening first. Geotech pace has been climbing because the liability and specialization, soil and foundation failures are catastrophic and expensive. So experienced geotechnical engineers, especially registered ones, get paid for that risk. It's also one of the more field heavy specialties if you want variety over a desk job. So coming in at number two, ranging from $90,000 up to $130,000 or more, structural engineering, bridges, towers, dams, anything that has to hold weight and not fall. This is the specialty most people picture when they hear civil engineer, and it is consistently ranks near the top of the pay scale. Why? Liability. Again, but at different scale. A structural engineer stamp on a drawing is a legal statement that a building won't collapse. That responsibility plus rising demand for retrofitting aging infrastructure and new low carbon construction methods keep structural salaries strong, especially for senior engineers, and principals in competitive markets like UK, Australia, Canada, and the Gulf states. And coming in at number one with a median around $107,000, which actually you can probably reach up to $110,000 to $140,000 or even more once you add project management credentials, construction management. This is the path that I wanted to take, and the numbers back up why it consistently leads the list. Construction managers carry contract level responsibilities for budgets and can run into hundreds of millions of dollars. You're not just designing something and handing it off, you're accountable for whether the entire project gets delivered on time, on budget, and without the client and contractor tearing each other apart. That accountability is exactly why the ceiling is higher and why project managers with a PMP on top of their civil background often clears 110 to 140,000, sometimes even more, especially when you get into large firms. It's also the specialty with the clearest path to leadership because you're not just an engineer anymore, you're running the project. So, one big factor, this is a quick bonus because this matters more than the specialty you pick, getting your PE license. Across every single one of these paths, getting your license adds somewhere between $30,000 to 40, maybe $50,000 a year on average. So before you agonize over structural versus geotech versus transportation, get licensed. It moves the needle more than specialty choice itself. So that's the rankings: water resources, transportation, geotechnical, structural, construction management. The honest truth, I didn't pick construction management or being a contractor because of the salary chart. I picked it because I like being the person in the middle, solving problems in real life, chase the work you can actually see yourself doing for the next decade. The paycheck differences between these five are real, but they are not as big as the difference between loving your job and dreading it. If you want a deeper dive of any of these five, comment which ones and I'll break it down in a full video, and subscribe if you want the honest, no fluff version of what civil engineering careers actually look like. Thanks, everyone.